Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Metaworld News. These are going to be our headlines for the week ending the 26th of April of the year 2020 vision. Well, yeah, you
Yeah,
get the idea.
yeah.
Yeah, we need it. Not much else going on in 2020, is there?
Kind of
It's a
slow,
sort of,
right?
yeah,
Kind of
we
one thing,
not
one thing going
can't
on.
even go out of our houses
Yep.
still. We are here in virtual land to bring you the news, so no problems. And actually, look on the bright side. You don't have to break your, you don't have the horrific sides of seeing my real world avatar.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at this fancy thing in a cap, even if his mouth is temporarily glued shut, which really doesn't do much for the older. Uh, what I don't even know what the world is. Compelling emotion, shall we say?
Oh,
Right.
looking at your avatar, the eyes are looking to the left.
Are they?
Yeah,
I don't know.
can actually see the eyes. There we are. Now we're forward.
Right. Okay. Well, I've clicked on myself. I can adjust my.
Oh,
I
back to the
can't
left
adjust
again.
the lips, but they've probably got their own
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, all I see is black holes, a black socket
You're
where
right, right,
where the eyeball should be.
right,
Okay, I'll worry about that later. Or rather, I better not worry about it because I will not resolve the issue. At least not
right.
while we're on air.
Yep, yep.
Okay, as I said, now my name is Mal Burns. That's Mal, M-A-L, and then B-U-R-N-S is the short bit. But you can find me on twitter.com as a squash job. Well, everything on the web is a squash job, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, twitter.com/malburns, Malburns, or one word, is where you will find my feed of general links. And it is highlights from those links that I was mostly reading out here. So, that will be the place to go if we come across an URL that's too long to read out to you or something like that, if you need to get back to something and check it out. Meanwhile, you will also be able to see my desktop, or parts of it at least, while I'm talking to you, all of which is courtesy of James Outloud, who's sitting here beside me, twiddling knobs, mixing video sources, and basically doing the honours as well as commenting now and again. So, welcome, James.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yo, applause today. Wow, that's great.
Yeah, well, we clap every Thursday for the NHS, so I think we should clap every Sunday for James Outloud. Yes,
All
indeed.
right. Very
Yes,
good. Very
indeed.
good.
Very, very good.
Yep.
Clap, clappity clap.
Thank you.
And that's not a button either. That's me. Right. So let's get going. I think let's get going. Have I missed anything? Headlines. I got my nose. You got the website. Oh yes, we got another Twitter stream at twitter.com
Oh,
Metaworld
right, right.
News too, which is for social world news. But there'll be a little bit there later. But I'll mention it again when we get to it. But meanwhile, I'm going to my main links. I have the last 3 days or so loaded, and then I will have to load the rest as we go because there's more than I could squash onto my browser tabs. Okay, this is April 22nd. Big news of the week, really. I think I've actually got a couple of pages up here dealing with the same thing in different ways. The big company Magic Leap have cut staff and exited the consumer market. They haven't actually gone, and but as we said, when you're trying to sell a headset device for $2,300, appearance aside, which it did look much better than Oculus and Fives and all the rest of it, that was a big ask. And most of the people that talk up Magic Leap were sort of enterprise users. Anyway, there were rumors of their funding problems and that they had been trying to find a partnership or a sale or something. So for the moment, they've left the consumer. That's you folks. Well, I think most of you market, and they've also cut a large number of staff. Not only from their Florida base, but also other places they were employing staff as well. It is the reality of a market besieged by the coronavirus. It was time to face reality, they say. Anyway, you'll find that particular article at digitalbodies.net. So that's digitalbodies, or one word, .net. And I'll move on from that. Much more to say about it, really. Now we're on to a site, another one we're fairly familiar with, called The Verge, TheVerge.com. And the headline here, as you can probably see, is Japanese hot spring resorts let you soak in their baths in VR. Now, I don't quite get this. I mean, I do. The photo says it all, really, doesn't it? These are sort of therapeutic baths and stuff like that. So presumably you can pipe music into your headset. That looks like an Oculus Go, actually. So there's nothing
It does,
particularly
yeah. Yeah,
elaborate.
doing 360
Uh,
VR, probably.
yeah, they started to upload VR footage of their hot spring baths to YouTube to help bring the onsen experience to people self-isolating at home. So presumably you get in your normal bath, you strap on the headset, and it shows you an exotic bath, and you fool yourself. Maybe.
Is that a bath in coffee?
I think it's a regular person in a bath, and somebody's done a Photoshop paint bucket underwater.
Oh, perhaps. Okay. All right.
Cheeky, aren't I? It's got a bit of transparency in that
Bit of a
murkiness, but not
latte, it
much.
looks like. Soaking in a latte.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it may be a variation on mud, although it certainly looks more
Oh,
liquidy than
right, right.
actual mud.
That's true.
But people
At a
people
spa.
do, do engage in baths in interesting things.
Yep.
And even, I remember Michael Jackson's every time he took a bath, it had to be Perrier water.
Oh,
I don't know if the fizziness made any difference to the
I don't know.
experience,
Right,
but
right.
yeah, he would only ever bathe in Perrier water.
Hmm.
A sign of the fact that had a lot of money, I guess, if nothing else.
Sure. Yep.
If your bath is Perrier. Mind you, I suppose if you heat it up, you might lose the fizz. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not really interested. So anyway, yeah. Oh, that's a Daydream View headset.
Oh,
No, I don't think that's Daydream. Oh my, I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
Anyway, the reviewer says, I'm not going to pretend that I didn't feel ridiculous, but it was oddly relaxing. So there you go. Maybe the sound of flowing water does make for a chilling experience. But I only lasted a few minutes before the goggles started to fog up.
Mm.
Steam and lenses don't really mix, as it turns out. Yeah,
Yep.
this is a nice idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Find out more about that at theverge.com if you really want to. Right, moving to our post. This is arpost.co, no .co.uk or anything. It's just co. Um, and I read this and I thought, what? Uh, it's interesting that in this particular economic crash, the only people who aren't crashing are the banks. They're the ones, they're normally the first to really go. But this is about the benefits of virtuality in banking. Um, Almost as compelling as bonking, really. I don't know. Banks can unlock unlimited possibilities by investing in virtual reality technology. And yes, what comes to mind when you think of virtual reality, etc., etc.? Um, Really, the answer to this is there can't be any industry really that would, if they applied it to what they do, that wouldn't benefit from a little bit of VR. Um, Basically, this guide looks at existing and emerging VR applications that would be suitable for banking, and they also comment on the distinct advantages um, about it. And yeah, actually, it's not as long an article as you might think. But anyway, if you're into banking or want to know what banking has to do with VR, you can check that out. It's arpost.co. That's it, not a com, not no, just a co, a cocoa, and an advert. Well, at least they waited long enough, didn't they? Right, but that went away. VR Scout, another favourite. VRScout.com. That's VRSCOUT.com. And this is about a company called Third Eye who are deploying mixed reality smart glasses to help COVID first responders. They need all the kit they can get. I think they're still trying to get more basic kit than smart glasses, but nevertheless, the idea, as you can see, is they wear smart glasses, which I guess is part of their protection, and they look through an AR type screen and presumably get information that means they don't need to get too close to the patient. I'm not really sure. Anyway, they claim that it's the smallest mixed reality glasses. The devices can give frontline medical personnel access to critical life-saving data, and communicate with emergency rooms and command centers in real time. Meaning, for example, a doctor located 100 miles away could just see exactly what the medic sees live. So distance surgeon kind of medic things. And whoa, ho, ho, is that the inside of a something or other? Is that whatever it is? It's
Something exploded. Yep.
yeah, I know. I hope that doesn't happen in the operating theatre. Bang!
I love
Oops.
exploded views.
We
Just
got a
like
few
that.
embedded bits of some glasses in the body. Who needs coronavirus when you've got shrapnel of headset? Or whatever the phrase is.
Keeping graphic
Right, okay.
designers at work. Exploding devices.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting name too. Third Eye's got a
Mhm.
nice,
Mhm.
nice mystical
Good
significance,
meaning.
sort of. Yeah. Okay, so find that at vrscout.com, that article at least. Moving on, we're at a site called Digital Trends. So it's digitaltrends.com. Trends, of course, is Trends, but it's all one word, Digital Trends. This is a crazy VR accessory which simulates touch by turning users into living marionettes. I think this is the one, yes, this is the one with a bit of bounce. You see this bit here? Um,
Hmm.
instead, instead of having haptic wireless touch, you, you have these elasticated things on your hands that
Wow.
get converted into movements or whatever. But it really, I don't know, different. It's like doing physical exercises, you have elastic bands to do the stretching with, but depending on the physiotherapist can give you three or four different bands which have different strengths and do different things. Sort of
Yep.
I don't know that one size fits all, but when you look at that crazy little, oh, we lost it now, the crazy little thing by her ear that was sort of twisting around there near the end. I wonder if I can get it
It
back
looked like
there.
a oh, on a truck they'll have a winch, to tow another vehicle.
Yeah.
It looked like a
Oh,
winch.
I think I might have a different.
Yeah, you got
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
someone's speaking
Anyway,
there, right?
there she is, all kitted out with up there and now down here too. Notice she's got a leap motion on her Oculus.
Oh yeah.
She's got this on her shoulder. She obviously likes her gear. What she hasn't got is what's coming up in a minute, which is the smell-o-vision interface.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, well, she can't have everything, can she?
Mm.
And she wanted a compelling solution, simple and low cost. It was around $50 to put it together. Hmm. Why? Reality might look complex, but it's not. Um, okay, well, not much I can say about that, but interesting idea
Mhm.
if you want springy stuff attached to you. And you'll find that at digitaltrends.com. April 22nd was when they announced or discovered that little thing there. Yeah. All right, moving on. I actually, um, no, I better wait till I find it
Oh, jump
in
ahead to
due
the
course. I was trying to
smell-o-vision.
jump ahead to something there that was related. Okay,
I can wait.
Ben Lang at Road to VR here, so road2vr.com. Three of the most common arguments against virtual reality and why they are wrong. Um, Quite a lot of feedback to this one on my Twitter feed for some reason. Several different people. I didn't get that many sort of DM replies, starting a debate. But I got quite a few this week, and I think they more or less originated with this. This and maybe. another comment too. Of course, some people are actually commenting on, well, that's not Magic Leap, but they were talking on prices and stuff for headsets and whatever. Um, Anyway, Red VR, of course, do promote VR, so yeah, they're just looking at three of the common arguments against it, and then giving their opinion, or Ben Lang's opinion in this case, actually, as to why those arguments are actually wrong. So find that at road2vr.com. Moving on. Now, Fortnite. I tried downloading this earlier on. I had to download something called an Epic Games Viewer, and that took about half an hour, but gradually opened account and everything else. Then I tried to download Fortnite, and at the moment, um, well, I had to pause it while I was doing this program and everything else. But after about 3 hours, it's got to about 12% of the download for the Fortnite program, so I'm not impressed. But apparently, a lot of people who it's no longer on, but yesterday, Saturday, and Friday, this concert took place at about five different times, and this guy Travis Scott came in. He's a rapper, I think, of some sort. You can see him there. He's actually a giant size sort of avatar. The actual audience avatars, so this is a bit of a deceptive photo because apparently the audience avatars are minuscule compared with his size. You apparently see him coming on when the gig opens. It's only about 15 minutes concert, and it's like that optical illusion you get with a city built in space or something. You see a craft going to dock with it, and then it gets closer and closer, and you think it's you keep thinking it's almost there, but in fact it's still light years away. By the time
Mm-hmm.
by the time it gets to where it's really docking, it's like the tiniest of pinpricks in the build. And apparently this is what happened as he came towards the audience. He was just appearing to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and by the time he was front of stage, he just dwarfed the audience completely. But anyway, they did a marshmallow show last year, which was an exciting, dynamic example of what a virtual concert could look like. But this week, Travis Scott's performance blew it out of the water. So that's their opinion anyway. We are at theverge.com again, by the way. So that's TheVerge. And April 23rd, I think that 23rd, 24th, this must have been written before it actually happened. Maybe they got a sneak preview or something. Um, but anyway, there was a lot of work setting the stage for the concert and stuff like that. But they are describing it as a bizarre, exciting glimpse at the future. And I'll have to check elsewhere, but the they keep mentioning this Marshmallow concert, which is the previous one where they got over 10 million people attended, and by all accounts, it wasn't only the technique of this, but the actual audience attendance for this also blew everything previous out of the water. So we are talking multiple millions of people being able to actually watch this at the same time or partake in it. I suspect it was more of a watch and experience, but with like added emotions that you felt like you were there. If you can actually take a 100-foot high rapper as a reality check, I don't know. Okay, so you can find out about that at the Verge. I've got a feeling we've got another mention of this coming up in a while. Okay, oh yeah, now sorry, this is at gizmodo.com, gizmodo.com, and this is actually the post that got all more than that other one that got
Oh,
the
okay.
reactions this week. It does mention Magic Leap and what was going on there, the Magic Leap Con. These people aren't too keen on Magic Leap, but they don't have to worry about it anymore, really, do they? Um, anyway, but yes, there were quite a few comments on this. Um, but I think in a way, I don't know. I think we know that all along. The headset take up, for example. After all the gamers had it, that could afford it, it was taken up. The headsets have been bought by the enterprise. and yeah, the uses of VR go way beyond gaming. So um, yeah, they got it. They've got it right there, I guess. So find out about more of that at gizmodo.com, gizmodo.com. Stating the obvious again. Right, this is a virtuality experience. I think it's maybe more like a 360 video. It's called The Underpresent. It's been getting it's live virtuality theatre by way of David Lynch. Now,
Hmm.
I think the reference to David Lynch is inspirational rather than him
Yeah,
having anything to do
interpretation.
with it.
Yep.
um, yeah, it's from a company called Tender Claws, and it's their latest extravaganza. Um, Okay, it sounds like this is quite a late review. The guy says he was sitting on it and actually put off going in there, but has now gone there. Down he tumbled. It sounds like the rabbit hole game, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Cue my picture, but no, never mind. Right. Okay, it's a review there, really, but games are games, I guess, and VR theatre is sort of immersive worlds kind of thing. It appears to be something that is in that grey area between gaming and virtual worlds. And I think whether this is a VR, i.e., 3D headset only experience, I don't know.
Yeah, it's only 3D.
It
It's
is.
a it's an
Oh, you're
Oculus
quite
title. Yep.
right. Your voice is quite faint, James. So yeah.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I can hear you, but just not as loudly as I
Okay.
normally do. Okay, gone completely now. Right. Ah, friends at Hypergrid Business. So, another comment here from Maria Kovalov. Of course, Magic Leap abandons consumers, lays off 1,000 employees, misses the opportunity to go big during a pandemic. Trust Maria to figure out that one. But it's very true. It
Right.
is almost absurd when you think of it that virtuality um, platforms and stuff like that are disappearing right at this moment. At the very time when you think they might, being opportune folks that they are, get a bit of a boost. I mean, I can understand that, we lost high fidelity before this came about, but Magic Leap, it seems an odd time, to be cutting right back. But as we said earlier, of course, they are still around. They're just focused more on the enterprise. According to Bloomberg, the 1,000 employees that are let go constitute about half the company's workforce. So for a startup, 2,000 employees, it's quite a lot to have had. Um, but anyway, our friend Maria, of course, has to take on that. A post that definitely has nothing to do with the hypergrid, oddly enough, but that's what you want. Hypergridbusiness.com. And yeah, HYPERGRIDBUSINE and then a dot com. Yeah. Her logo will just never fit on my frame.
Right.
Right. Put that one away. Right, virtuality for improved workforce safety and training. Now, this is opposed to somewhere called Automation World. AUTOMATIONWORLD.com. And it's basically talking about something called Mimic Field 3D, which is an immersive virtuality training experience. Very specific here. And Oh, it looks kind of detailed in that very, clinical kind of way, which you might expect from training. It's hardly photorealistic there, but it looks like it from a training point of view. It does all it sort of needs. It reminds me of some of the stuff Dayton over here in the UK do for
All right. Yep.
training scapes and stuff. So anyway, just left of centre there, but something you might want to add to your links of people in the field, should we say? Especially from a training point of view. Mimic Field 3D. And this post you will find at www blah blah automationworld.com. and that was posted April 20th. And hmm, oddly enough, I can't see a link there to the actual Mimic 3D site itself, although, um, hmm. Oh, companies in this article. That's probably how you do it. Right. Anyway, I'll put that away. Automation World, that was. Right. Another offbeat site, I suppose. This is healtheuropa.eu. So healtheuropa.eu. Could virtuality ease the burden of coronavirus isolation? Well, I think it's a bit of a silly question, really. Although, I mean, if people know about it and use it, then I would think almost certainly it does. Sort of, especially if you're in a social environment where there are other people around, then it defies the isolation, as it were. James and I are doing this show for you right now, but I mean, there's only two of us, but we're both presumably in a limited amount of isolation in the real world, but we're
Hmm.
here together doing it. And if you go to a party like a big one last night on the old from EOS on the old high fidelity interface, sort of everybody from all over the place was there saying hello again and whatever. Sort of, it's called the lockdown party. I haven't got much to say about it, and I actually missed it because it was rather late in UK time, and I lost track of time. I did. But yeah, so certainly if you've got more virtual worlds you can go to, the more stuff you better choose to go to, and the more people you probably meet. So I don't think isolation is very likely. The only thing is it might be for somebody who's never done it before, it's probably the first half hour in virtual reality, or whether we're talking headset, virtual reality, or just virtual environments on the web. Sort of the learning curve isn't always that easy. So if you don't know anybody already, it's really just a matter of keeping your fingers crossed, jumping in, hanging around, and not quitting the moment you see another avatar walking towards you and realize it's not a cartoon.
Hmm.
But and it all takes off from there. You make one friend, they introduce you to two more, then you suddenly meeting another eight, and then 16, and I don't know how it goes, but 6 degrees of separation everywhere, isn't it?
Right.
In fact, I've heard that rule no longer applies. We're more likely to be 2 degrees of separation these days
No.
because online we are not nearly so separated, though we might think we are, oddly enough. But um, connections. We ha- we all have more contacts than we ever had before.
Yeah, true.
Whether we know them directly is another matter entirely. Anyway, the question is really answered um, by the article. New research highlights how yes, it can. I don't know that it really takes much research to figure that out, but obviously somebody has some spare
Pretty
money to
pretty
pay for it
intuitive,
somewhere.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, Anyway, read all about it. Read all about it, as they say, at Health Europa EU. That's Health Europa, all one word, .eu. And oops, that was meant to have been put away. That was. There we are. Put this one away at least. Right, article at Medium here, which means sure to find the link at twitter.com/Malburns. Not an easy, direct link I can read out or anything. A guy called Greg Fordor, though. This one isn't behind the paywall, which is interesting, so you can get to it and read it. He's talking about a secret Mozilla Hubs master plan. Now, Mozilla Hubs have been talking about themselves all over the place, but um, this this apparently seems to be written independently. Though I think it's somebody who's pretty much involved there. It's talking about hubs and spoke, which are two allied um, things going on from Mozilla, and as you can see, he's got quite a lot to say. So, this I think is posted on the Metaworld News feed as well because it sort of applies to both feeds really.
What
Okay, so you fight.
I was going to say, what is the master plan?
Well, I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
it's more like what appears to be a roadmap, should we say?
okay.
Reading this, I couldn't really find any one thing, right, that is, the master plan. It's almost like points on the roadmap, which is being construed there as the master plan. Um, yeah, it's all about bringing the web, virtual worlds to the web, basically, and the support. And as you can see coming down here, there's just stuff listed here, there, or wherever, which I guess is part of the plan. Oh, we're here we are again. Back to here's what our plan has been from the beginning. Create easy to use avatar communication tool for mixed media, globally addressable spaces. Create easy to use tools for creating video environments and avatars. Build it to run in a browser and embrace the culture of the web. Open source all the code. Make it cheap and easy for anyone to run their own decentralized server. Deliberately not included is any form of dynamic scripting, rich applications, large continuous open world land model, collaborative editing tools, or world building and transactions or e-commerce. So there you go.
They did achieve that. Yep.
Yeah, so that I guess is the master plan.
All right.
It has been from the beginning.
It's good
But
to know.
obviously,
Good
you
to
can
know
tell
that.
from all my scrolling here exactly how much of that article there is to read. So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, that comes to the very bottom typically. Right. Okay, moving on. Oh gosh, this is youtube.com.
Ah,
Oh, yes. Okay. We are going to watch this. I'm going to
I
pause
see
it.
what it is. Okay.
We were talking earlier about, I saw that woman with all the contraptions on her, and she didn't have smell-o-vision. Well,
Deprived. Yeah.
yeah, I know. What can you do? But let me get to the beginning here. You're only going to see it very small, University of Chicago here, but this is what it's all about. The user feels the furnace warming up the cabin. To render the warmth, the device emits well, I'll let you read it. Oh,
Capsaicin. That's in peppers.
mm. Yes, yes. Eucalyptus or eucalypto. So I actually said this wrong. It's not really smell-o-vision. It's well,
All the senses under the sun.
yeah,
Was that sound in the audio? I mean, was that audio in
yeah.
the video?
Yes, it's an odd video. It pauses to silence and then puts some text up. Um, so they pause it.
All right. Okay.
I'm going to bring the volume of that down. You can get the drift here. Basically, what they're saying here is to exploit this, they create a wearable device based on micropumps and an atomizer that emits up to 3 custom-made thermal scents directly into the user's nose. The illusion relies on the properties of certain scents, like the coolness of mint or the hotness of peppers. These odors trigger not only the olfactory bulb, but also the nose's trigeminal nerve, which has receptors that respond to both temperature and chemicals. And yeah, so basically, it's like a printing system. It has the components, presumably the extremes between mint and pepper, and it balances the smelly inks to
Hmm.
accommodate the illusion of temperature. But yet another haptic device, and this is actually unusual because we have actually come across various other ideas of smell-o-vision. Basically, the idea of I don't know, they like a 3D printer. They have capsules of so many different essential oils with different smells, and software combines those smells to convey, to mimic other smells, like woodland or stuff like that. So anyway, that's supposed to you can click through from my Twitter feed, obviously, and end up with that article on YouTube. Surprisingly, there is no direct. Oops, something else there. There's no direct website to find for that actually. Although if you're looking on the YouTube thing, there is a link in there to somewhere, but it's all very new, I guess. Okay, this is a highlight thing. Charlie Fink at Forbes. Good old Forbes do a lot this week. This week in XR. Let me see. I think this was today. Actually, I think it might have been today. This post earlier or yesterday earlier on. Basically, just a roundup of the news. This isn't quite a few roundup news sites these days, but yeah, it's with lockdown and everything in play, they obviously got a lot more to talk about. News about the Zoom in the news, Snap too, Magic Leap, of course, we've covered already. Digital Lens getting funding. Um, AR thing called Form getting money. XR Health raising money. Mozilla we just looked at. Oh, they've announced something called Hubs Cloud too, which I think we'll get to later. Yeah, but as you can see, just a nice little roundup there. So if you fancy popping along to Forbes.com, Forbes, and where you need to go to the sites and then look up Charlie Fink. But the other quick way is, of course, is to follow the link from my tweet. Right, beyond Zoom. Well, we were talking about Zoom. University of Sydney here, actually. Um, All to do with students. Beyond Zoom, students immersing themselves in virtual reality classes. Apparently, despite the popularity of this wonderful product called Zoom, which is a glorified Skype with lots of people on it, not as everybody, although Skype now has lots of people, so does Facebook, so does everybody, in fact. Um, but here, it seems to be the other way around. People got so fed up with Zoom, they decided they might be better off in virtual reality. So, this article is meeting a teacher who thinks outside the classroom box. And as COVID-19 continues to pause in person teaching, a psychology class on virtual reality therapies enters a new dimension. And interesting photos there. They don't actually appear to be in the new dimension in the photos, but presumably what's on screen there might just be the new dimension they're talking about. God, very small. Yeah, I think you need a Zoom facility to read this. It's very small print for a web page. Anyway, that's the University of Sydney. So sydney dot edu dot or for Australia, AU. Sydney.edu.or. And 24th of April was what, yesterday, wasn't it? Or very close to
Friday.
Friday. Okay, well, there you go. We're never know what day is which these days
Yeah.
anyway, do we?
Right.
Who
Does it
cares
matter?
when it was
Doesn't
posted?
even
You can
matter, right?
I know. Who cares when it was posted? You can still read it. Okay, how I broke my VR skepticism and found emotional escape during a coronavirus sheltering.
Hmm.
Nice bit of animation here to accompany this article. This post is at the Los Angeles Times. It's www.latimes.com. So that's Latimes. In other words, the LA being short for Los Angeles, of course. Um, Yes, April 25th, this literally was yesterday. All it took to make me a believer of virtual reality was through virtual reality. Sorry, I'll say that again. It's a good line. All it took to make me a believer of virtual reality was for reality to break.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's a good line to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You will you will believe. He had this thought after about 45 minutes in the VR headset on Monday afternoon. He barely moved. The forest surrounded him. A bird sat perched on a tree branch. His hand held a video game controller, and he saw what was a futuristic airbrush, a laser-like spray painter that looked like a prop from a 40s film. And anyway, um, oh no, nice picture. Get lost in a virtual interactive coloring book in color space.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun one.
And
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I think I have actually heard of it.
Hmm.
You're more the expert on a lot of these than me, I think. Dived into most of them.
Being in the headset,
Uh,
that's right.
yeah, especially with the headset. Yeah. Um, yeah. Anyway, that's. I actually like that. I like that graphic actually, but maybe. Oh, save image. Maybe it will. I probably saved it already, but we don't know, do we? Save as. Oh, it's again. Oh, I'll sort it out later. It's going to save. Right. Okay. So moving on. Um, oh, Travis Scott again. This article is actually at Vogue, vogue.com. And well, it's written from a fashion point of view, basically. Travis Scott did the virtual concert inside a video game, and yeah, it's basically just another report. Um, yeah, actually, this is a genuine. Okay, 12.3 million people were in the audience for that, and that was the first one. There were three more. The remaining three yesterday had not actually yet happened. Um, I can't. It's hard to actually register that as people. I mean, I'm very used to social virtual worlds, but you know, yeah, that's bigger than any actual concert. How do you socialize with 12.3 million people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was a shared virtual experience, and it went down really well. So this is the other extreme from the the little book club in the virtual world. This is mammoth completely. So you can find that at www.vogue.com. You will actually find reviews of this all over the place simply because it was so massive. Um, right. Moving on now, this site is VentureBeat, VentureBeat.com. And they asked a very simple question we're all asking, and the other blogs have been asking too. How could COVID-19 change augmented reality or VR, or virtual reality's future? And I've got a graph there. Um, uh, for those who like graphs and charts, no names will be mentioned here. Um, early stage technology markets like virtual and augmented reality are trivial by comparison to the impacting on the lives of billions that the virus is doing. Companies are dealing with knock-on effects, both positive and negative. This analysis explores the potential future for AR VR in the context of the silent cycling we're all going through. Oh, that's another nice line. The silent cyclone.
Hmm.
Yes, there we go. Again, I'll forget, but there's some good lines here actually this week. Anyway, yeah. What can I say really? These are just all articles investigating it. Some are opinions, some are coming up with ideas. It's all sort of falling together a bit at the moment. I don't know. We don't know how long this will last. It'll probably be many years actually. Um, in in the aftermath, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, all this online activity could well change everything. And who knows? Somebody there may be some technology invented in the meantime that extends of necessity that makes is something that you can use in the home more. I don't know. Maybe it be. Can you imagine, for example, something like an iPad that's flat and actually projects polygons above its surface? So it's a bit like the augmented reality thing. It's up the surface itself. will do is you won't actually need to hold something or wear something to see the AR. So, there could be interesting
Right,
things
right.
may appear. As I say, out of necessity. I mean, if you've got some kind of interactive table, you know, like large coffee table size thing that allows you to do all sorts of things, that'd be wonderful. It's the sort of thing that if somebody invented it a couple of months ago, people would have laughed. They thought, "Oh, we're not going to pay $5,000 for something like that. We'll just have a normal table and an iPad, please." But actually, when given a circumstance, suddenly that may be a value proposition. you know,
Yeah, yeah, true.
um, because it will be used all the while, quite frankly. And that price, if it works and is good, is probably nothing compared, except to people that can't afford it, of course, which is another story. Right. Anyway, who knows what the future holds now more than ever. Lots of interesting stuff here. I mean, you really have to copy these graphics to your hard disk and then use something offline to blow them up to actually read them. Some of them. They don't work on the page, as you can tell. I mean, they don't work for me, and what you're seeing is even smaller. So go
Mm-hmm.
figure.
Right.
Right. Okay. Now, what I need to do here is figure out where I was because I've used up all my tabs
Oh,
on
how's
my
your kitely
feed.
time too?
Good point. Good point. Oh, right. No, no, I haven't been kicked off yet.
No,
Unless they've done it and I can't tell. But I
nope.
see
I
myself
I see
there.
you as
Yeah, good
well.
point. Good point. So I
Right.
need to be. I need to check that I'm not being kicked out of our own studio. Yes, terrible stuff. Right, April 18th. When was that? Let me scroll back. 6 days, 4 days. Right. Yeah. Okay. So what I've covered so far is the last 3 days. So now I need to move into 4 days ago. Um, Sorry, I'm loading them bit ahead of schedule
Ever
live
ever
here,
so gently.
ever so gently. Yeah. So I can then go back to them. 4 days ago would be. Oh God, oh, fuck, that's pardon, I don't know which. Right, which one was that? UK guest. Oh yeah, guest blog there. Okay. Um, it's a sign of the times that I've got so many blasted links. Right. All these ones that I'm loading at high speed here, they're all from 4 days ago. Right, social
Ah,
VR.
wow.
Okay, right, this is 4 days ago. You don't worry, you've still got day 5 and day 6 to come. Okay, we'll go through these ones first. This is road2vr.com. Again, road2vr.com. And the social application VR chat, which you've probably heard us cover enough time in the past, is one of many seeing record usage amidst the pandemic. Nothing much to say there, except that the users for these things are just typical of the times, but it proves that they are useful in these times. A 17 times rise in usership over the course of a month. Um, 20,000 concurrent users of the game via Steam. Um, oh, no, no, it's talking about previous spikes and things. Um, 16,000. I don't know. Anyway, more graphs and stuff to show you. Ever since it appeared, really, VR chat has been a bit of a runaway success when it comes to social VR.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Compared to some of a lot of things we've known over the last 15 years and stuff that have evolved over that time, it's fairly primitive, but it's captured the magic, so to speak. Oh, and also, I don't think I've got it here, so I remember to stick this in now. We were talking about Travis Scott's concert there. I forget who it is, but somebody very big is apparently going to be doing a virtual concert um, as well. and they are going to be using Minecraft
Mm-hmm.
for of all platforms.
Yep.
So you'll be seeing a rock and roll superstar made of Lego or something. I don't know. I can't imagine that. Quite, but I have my own thoughts about Minecraft. I mean, it's down to resolution. If you've got a Lego piece that 16 Lego pieces to the pixel, then maybe it's as good as anything else, really. Anyway, VR chat there being highly successful. So that report is at roadtovr.com. Moving on, back to VR Scout. They're talking about a company called Fundamental VR. They're now offering a free ventilator course for health professionals. Much needed, I'm quite sure. This is over in the UK here, and they're working with Imperial College, which are down the road here too. It's a college, but it's also part of the National Health Service. In fact, on my own health records are at Imperial College, I believe. Right. Um, Basically, this is watching real world television, where COVID is the only thing they talk about these days. BBC News 24 is now called BBC COVID 24, I believe.
Okay.
But well, or 23 and a half at least. Um, but they've got lots of anecdotal stuff, not only about shortages and things like that, but the fact that health workers have been brought back to work from retirement and people have been trained up very hurriedly to cope with the specific. They're there already, but they needed fresh training to on the specifics of intensive care. Where it does sound like these simulations that they've in fundamental VR called them. Basically, the idea is to provide the training for those who are going to need to work in the intensive care units. Basically, to make the training a lot easier. Because a lot of people are on the training escalator, I suppose you could say, for those particular units at the moment, um, to a greater extent than the other departments of hospitals and whatever. So they also work with various things. They've got HTC Vive, Oculus Quest, Focus Plus, and they work with other platforms like the Oxford Medical Simulation and stuff like that. So I must say that out of the public eye, and actually out of the public eye, if you see what I mean, the National Health Service in the UK does have an awful lot of connections with VR projects for training of surgeons and all sorts of things, not related to the current crisis. Um, but you don't really hear about these because they're used in training hospitals and things like that. Um, the public-facing National Health Service, you can't even get a Skype appointment, let alone a virtual reality one. But in the background, on the enterprise level, as it were, the National Health Services had long involvement with projects like this. Just a shame they never get to the front line, as the expression currently goes. Okay, so that post is at vrscout.com. That's vrscout.com. Moving on, where another familiar site, Engadget, engadget.com. And this is right. This is another article on. We did look at this a minute ago. Um, they describe it rather better. This VR system tethers your hands to your shoulders to improve haptics, which is basically what it's all about. You can tell from the picture there. We did see it earlier, and um, but that headline actually probably says it rather well. It tethers your hands to your shoulders. Whether you will be comfortable with that, I don't know. Researchers claim that they can better simulate objects in VR, but then again, any researchers paid by the manufacturer probably would, wouldn't they? Yes. There is a link here to the paper, so and a bit more video if you want it. So you find that at engadget.com, Engadget. Moving on, Outlook, the news scroll. This is oh, okay. This is actually well, it's in English anyway. It's actually an Indian website, but look at it. Um, OUTLOOKINDIA, outlookindia.com. And the section you can do backslash and then news scroll if you want. They've got virtual reality has the power to change violent offenders. This is actually a study about the way they can use virtual reality to activate brain networks that increase your ability to identify with other people. And that technology could become a tool in the treatment of violent offenders to help them empathize, more with others. And a bit more to read there too. So good news if that is the case. Keep people out of prisons. Of course, there are other people who actually they want to put people in prison and then lock them in virtual reality to make life easy for management. Matrix and what have you, eh? Right, VR technology and 3D capture could allow physiotherapy at home. More medical stuff here. This is again, we had another post at this site earlier, actually, a different part of it. Health Europa EU, so HEALTHEUROPA .eu. I think this is going to be a different section. The actual page doesn't resemble the other one very much at all. Different style sheet kind of thing. Um, Okay, thanks to the combination of virtual reality and 3D technology, exactly what the difference there. 3D motion capture, basically, to bring physiotherapy to the home. This, I imagine, it's a bit like exercise backs or trap pads and stuff to run around in VR and stuff. That really, these kind of things really do kind of depend on you having space at home to do things. And I know, for example, that floor space in American homes, even in lower income homes, tends to be quite larger than you'll find in Europe or certainly Britain here. Um, but I imagine even in wealthier places, there are some people who just do not have you can't, you can't. You need a certain amount of minimum space to create a mini gym, which is of course what you need for physiotherapy too. And um, I've got a reasonable amount of floor space, but when I need to do elasticy, stretching exercise sort of things, I have to move things out the way so that I got space to do it. And I don't do it often enough because I tend to fall over. So, but I do. Whenever I see these things, I think well, you know, um, these are going to be marketed for people with space to spare, shall we say? Um, anyway, patients rarely receive any guidance other than the leaflet of sketches or static photographs to instruct them how to complete their exercises. This leads to poor adherence, with patients becoming anxious about not getting it right. Whereas with this system, well, of course they get it right. The machine's doing it for them. I'm being flippant there. Anyway, read all about that at, what was it again? Healtheuropa.eu. Right, a guest blog, mixed strategy training, time for enterprise adoption. This is www.techuk.org, techuk.org. And yeah, mixed strategy training. Is it time for the enterprise to adopt it? Um, ask Laura Foster, I guess. Very, very much for. I mean, I
Ask
think there's a
Laura.
need.
Yeah,
So yeah, I say yeah. Ask Laura. Oh, she's quite
she
attractive,
knows.
isn't she?
Yep.
Yes, yeah. Maybe she'll do a Skype thing. I don't need to know this anyway, though, do I? Right. According to a letter from National Health Service Chief Executive Simon Stevens. Oh, that's who's Simon Stevens. I think he follows me. It's interesting. Right. I thought the name was familiar, but sorry, I'm distracted. Um, Yeah, for those working across the XR ecosystem, challenges to understand how COVID is impacting training and education for healthcare and wider society, and can mixed reality training provide a novel solution? And so it then goes on about it. So definitely for those studying training in the enterprise, definitely. of interest there and topical at the moment too. Okay, moving on to this is interesting. The picture behind there. Oh,
Huh,
I'm back on that one. I'm
back on
back
that
on
one.
that one. Oh, cool. Actually, of course, because I downloaded it while we were looking, so it automatically went into my the latest download immediately went into that thingy. Um, right. So for broadcast here, um, oh, maybe current resources. Okay, I had I did have
So
something
that's a
ready to get.
good black screen there.
Yes, yeah, it's called trying to find the effing picture I wanted. There we This is it. Right. This is actually a clean version of the graphic that's behind the web page we're on. Um, basically, Spaces is an avatar based platform.
Oh yeah.
I downloaded it, but I haven't actually. I'm still looking at it. But what they've done, right, which is quite interesting, is that due to the popularity of Zoom and stuff like that, they've done this kind of integration thing where you can, instead of having your webcam on Zoom, you can have your own scene from Spaces with your avatar in there. So it's a bit like me taking, like we're doing now here, filming ourselves. So if I take that film, take what you're seeing in camera now of my avatar, or when we get back to my avatar, that is, and then dumping it in a Zoom chat, or presumably in any other, Skypey type things as it comes along. Anyway, putting the picture away, that's the same picture here in the background. They're launching a subscription option for VR Zoom video chat as an add-on, and engineers at VR startup Spaces started working 16 to 18 hours from home in social isolation in response to COVID. And they've developed a bare bones version of a free add on for Zoom and other video conferencing apps, which allows for joining the conversation from inside a PCR VR headset. Now, when I tried this out, of course, I was actually hoping, unfortunately, that I could simply load up, a Spaces environment. Oh, I've got my. I'm here. I'm here.
There it is.
There we
Okay.
are. Thank you. I will no longer be disconnected. Right. Hoping that I could load up an environment, like indeed I do here, and just set it as a default in a Zoom call. The same with the way you can actually put, you can now put backgrounds of your own into Zoom and in Skype, and all the rest of them are doing the same thing now. Unfortunately, because I wasn't using a headset, and this actually would have required a PC VR headset, so it clearly doesn't work with untethered stuff. Um, but
It does work with
apparently
Quest
you
also.
okay.
Yep. So
So, but apparently, well, maybe have you tried it, James, or
no, I haven't, but
no?
I'm
Me
definitely
just
going to
reading.
try
Yeah,
it. Yep.
yeah. I think basically this just simply allows you to be in a VR headset and enter well, if you're in Spaces, you can then enter from Spaces into not Zoom, a Zoom call. Maybe it will work with Skype and
Yeah,
others
it,
too.
it,
I
it
don't
becomes a
know, but
video source, so you can use it with any of the things that use a webcam.
right,
Yep.
okay. Well, I know I registered for Spaces and got it. Oh yeah, free. Try it out free here.
You know, in business calls, people are always asking, "Are you wearing pants?" Well, with this, you wouldn't have to wear anything at all.
No, yeah, exactly. Sort of, if the camera slips below the waist, well,
Doesn't matter, right?
it doesn't matter. You see the floor or something.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a free version and then there's a pro version. So you've got the
The business model.
business model. It's a bit out. It seems to be a bit out of sync. Oh, maybe it's meant to be in both. Yeah, high resolutions and yeah. And oh, they got a place in joined in Discord. I think I probably did that
Yep.
already.
Discord's got a
Um,
webcam, so there you go.
yeah, this is true. Yeah, but I think this is the community in Discord rather than the coming soon spaces. Okay, well, a good one anyway. However you look at it,
Yeah.
it may be that you can use it, maybe you can't, but nice idea. So basically, the page I'm on now is www.spaces.com and then slash download. The page we were actually on previously, however, is at uploadvr.com. That's uploadvr.com. And April the 20th was that particular post, which was earlier in the week. We're now on the earlier part of the week, of course. Right, moving on back to VR Scout. Celebrate the 50th anniversary of Earth Day with Earth XR. Well, this is kind of out of date because it was it Wednesday, I think was Earth Day? I can't remember. Um, the environment, of course, is doing reasonably well for itself at the moment, thanks to coronavirus. It sometimes makes you wonder if this is actually Earth kicking back, you know. Anyway, yeah. Starting April 25th, which was yesterday, audiences can immerse themselves in a collection of captivating 360-degree films and virtual panels that shine a much needed spotlight on numerous. Um, they actually say conservative efforts. I think they mean conservation
Mm.
efforts.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might have been the odd time when I understand that slip up now and again, but they could do with a proofreader before they publish. And there we are, some nice pretty fish in 3D, no doubt. Um, yeah. So that was vrscout.com, sort of a little bit about the links between ecology and VR, etc. Uh, right. Oh, yeah, oh, this is a nice little title. This is www.nature.com, Nature, and it's an article, Scientific Reports, Open Access, measuring perceived self location in virtual reality. And for some very strange reason, this was another one of my tweets that got a lot of retweets. So go figure. I got so many followers, I can't really make any analysis out of it. Maybe it's because it's got so much. There's so much to read here. Anyway, that's at nature.com. And when was it? 22nd of April, that one came up. Right. Does virtuality have the power to change abusers? Well, we obviously had that article about wondering whether it can help with violent offenders and things. This is at inverse.com, inverse.com. And some of us have less empathy than others, but VR could help change that. So different pitch, but basically the same theme as the violent offenders article we had a minute
Yep.
ago. um, Sort of down to empathy, really. And we all know that, well, I think we all know that there's definitely a heightened sense of empathy for most people in VR, if they got it in the first place, that is. Okay, shouldn't have said that. Right,
Right.
billions of us. Right now, this is odd. This is there's billions of us, and now it was millions. There's now billions of. But people, including Pathfinder the other day, keep getting this wrong. But it's um, it's billions of .us. So BILLIONSOF. So billions of is one word, and then it's a .us. It still reads as billions of us, but the US is in fact the region suffix or whatever. So yeah, building the metaverse. This is just really a nice little slideshow, which actually accompanied some of talks in, well, basically the French thing that went on during the week and in Second Life. Um, so you can imagine this on a PowerPoint screen inside Second Life or something while he was talking. And yeah, I know you can't read it. I'm going far too fast, but I'm just giving you the idea. Okay. Now, I'm particularly interested in billions of dollars. In fact, I got an invite the other day to join. It's actually a private group in oddly enough Facebook. Quite a few luminaries in it. I mean, the idea, their mission statement really is non-commercial. and it's simply to in these rapidly changing times promote the use of virtual worlds as opposed to virtual reality, by the way, although sometimes that will require virtual reality too. So a lot of people coming back into, say, the grand old platforms like Second Life, the high streets of the metaverse, doing stuff there, OpenSim too, but also, events like educators conferences and things that are happening in other worlds too. And I think the idea really Billions of Us wants to, especially from a science circle point of view, sort of be a bit in the centre there. They had one panel earlier in the week with Robert Scoble was on it, Pathfinder Lester was on it, Ebby Altberg from Second Life was on it, Ruben, the main guy, I can't remember his Ruben something, who's definitely from Billions of Us, and a couple of other luminaries too, and that was quite an interesting sort of talk about, hey, we're back, what should we be doing, where can we be going, what have you, you know, um, how can we promote our favourite platforms, etc. Anyway, so that's billions of dot US building the metaverse. Right, moving on for now for a minute. Um, right, how could? Oh, sorry, this is this you know
Let's,
already
you saw
seen.
that one.
I've left it up to avoid displaying what's underneath it. Which well, actually, hang on a second. No, I need to pin tab, then move that there. Okay, now I can put that one away. I don't mind you seeing my what's this? It's quite colourful anyway, if you really want it. Right. So where was it? That was right. I'm moving into 5 days ago now, as opposed to 4 days ago, which that last lot were. And it's not easy to do live. Where am I? I've got so much in my list. I do a little scroll button and I'm like 5 miles further down the list than I want. Right, very clever. Okay, this is at artnet.com, artnet.com. Opinion piece. In a changed world after lockdown, we will need smart and new ways to interact with art. I believe virtuality is the answer. And this piece is written by Daniel Birenbaum at ArtNet News. And I think he is probably right. That's all I can. Hang on. What's happened here?
It's quite white.
Okay, I think he's probably right anyway. Yeah, that the site for that was news.artnet.com. So news obviously .artnet.com. And yep, I think the art world could benefit from. If they already are benefiting, if you're into it. Right, is virtual travel here to stay even after the pandemic subsides? Obviously, a lot of people are, I mean, often just 360 videos, but a lot of people are being told, well, you're at home, relax, enjoy all this stuff, and go on your virtual travels. Um, it's simply 360 video, or some people actually call the YouTube documentary of virtual travel. Earlier in the week, of course, we had the first day of Britain's Parliament is back, and on the first day, it's now known as the virtual Parliament. They were making a big thing of day one of the virtual
Mm-hmm.
Parliament. There's nothing virtual about it, in my opinion. It's just everything that's online is now known as virtual. And even if it's only not really online, I mean, this is just an array of video cameras and big screens in Parliament. It's like switching a camera on a video call. I mean, it's that is apparently Britain's virtual Parliament. And there was another thing too, which is disgusting. It makes me ashamed to be part of the English bit. If you live in Scotland or Wales, which have separate governments, or in Europe or any other country that seems to be having problems, you look at these pictures of the prime minister or a lead person coming out, and it's usually flanked by two other people. but they're 2 meters apart, and the cameras are they're actually taking questions from the press. Not in the White House, but everywhere else. Those are on video cameras. So there's no close proximity for transmission. Um, but the interesting thing is, you were watching it on TV. The British government, the English government, I should say, Westminster, is the only one apparently in the world that does not have signing. And it has been pointed out that, deaf people, amongst others, are actually the people that need this information most. And that the English government just has not even thought of making signing available. All it takes is one person, standing by them doing the signing. Scottish Parliament does it, the Welsh government, which is a tiny one, does it, and French, the Germans, and the Italian. A lot of them do it,
Even the
but
United
not.
States does it.
Yeah, I think they probably do. I
The
mean, the
governors
only,
do. Yeah, the federals
yeah,
don't do it as much.
yeah. The only weird thing is watching the White House one. I mean, the social distancing, it just means there's a couple of empty seats between them and the orange hair thing. Although apparently he's not going to do them anymore. He's decided they're boring and they're not worth it. He said today,
I
didn't
don't
he?
trust anything that they say.
No, well, no, but I mean, it's more. If he doesn't have to go out and face the press, he's got more time to stay in
That's
bed
right. That's right.
and Twitter from his bedroom whilst watching Fox TV.
Yep.
Anyway, back to Out of the Rabbit Hole. I've forgotten I was in it, but there we go. So is virtual travel here to stay even after the pandemic subsides? Was that article? This is actually it's at nationalgeographic.com. I don't think you'll forget that one. National Geographic, or one word.com. Obviously, in their travel section, they're all about travel. And yeah, an article there about whether all these 3D, virtual tourism, as they call it, will remain afterwards. I always thought it was a good thing before the pandemic because no, in a human lifetime you can't go everywhere. But I love the idea that you can play videos and watch programs that take you places that obviously, it's nice to go to the real place if it's somewhere you can afford and is a favourite. But if you want to get a taster and just sort of drift away to an exotic location that isn't actually virtual reality, of course, then I've always thought that's a nice sort of thing to be doing. Even on my desktop here, I've got a video playing at the moment in a loop of some nice place with a waterfall. Not the desktop I'm reading my links from, but the one where my virtual world is hanging out. Right. So, yeah, National Geographic. Um, oh, I've got two articles left at something called Events. Okay, well, apparently what happens if I just consent? Nope. Okay, well, tough. Somebody that was event marketer of some sort. There was something there that was of interest, but I don't know what it was now. Right, okay, we're on. Let's moving forward. Inverse.com, yes, again. Ah, no, we've done that. Right, but I was in the right place. Right, this is the slight problem. Okay, Bloomberg.com. I have an article here 5 days ago. Virtual reality at home has been boosted during the coronavirus. COVID is much easier to say, actually. Um, Zoom parties are so 5 weeks ago. Hello, virtual reality. Oh, well, some people get there in the end, don't they? This is Bloomberg. Oh, go,
Mm-hmm.
come,
Oh, there you
go
go.
up.
They got you.
Yeah, they yes, exactly. Uh, so we're going live. And of course, by not loading these in advance, I've got to cope with whatever is coming up. Anyway, yes. So they've discovered that Zoom is old hat and virtuality is new, except they're 15 years late. But, poor old Bloomberg. All right. Um, Space Popular explores virtual reality in communication in van room video. The Ah, okay. This isn't a bit. I like this article. This was simply again along the same lines. Swapping video calls for VR will change our homes forever. Says Space Popular. And this company called Space Popular have made little movies and things exploring how virtual reality could become as widespread as a video call. And as you can see, I'm not going to play all of this. There's 4 minutes 20 of it, but this site is called Dzene, by the way, DEZEEN.com. And this particular video appears to be uploaded on Dzene's account. Just interesting. I don't think I actually watched this at the time. Okay, I'm not going to do for 4 minutes for that. Um, but you get the idea here. They're basically they're going right in depth here into the idea that we will somehow our rooms and everything will be virtuality. And instead of going on a Skype call, you'll be connecting your room with somebody else's room, or they'll be coming into your room or whatever. Now, to be honest, in Second Life or OpenSim, or I'm sure many other platforms where you get given a room or can rent or buy a room, then this already exists. You know, the idea of a home location where you go to and invite your friends round is already pretty commonplace. It's it's a metaphor. It's an extension of what we do anyway. But the promise here is that two people will be wearing VR headsets and will literally connect, or this way as a kind of um, alternative to a phone call, right? Presumably without having to um, well, it's not specific, but there's an awful lot here. Space Popular, who made this series of films, they're a design studio in Bangkok, of all places, where for 5 years they were teaching architecture, and it's got links here to other projects and stuff like that. It's only been 150 years since the telephone was invented, and since then we have never stopped in our efforts to transfer as much of us as possible and with even greater fidelity at every step. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. So that's Dzeen, DEZEEN .com from earlier in the week. Um, what was that? Right, media, move to VR. Oh, and Kitely, where we are now. VR Scout. Um, okay, I think we're getting there. Okay, uh, boxing, not exactly a sport that I'm particularly interested to. I've actually realised a lot of people who say they've taken up boxing, and they're not actually in a ring, trying to kill each other. They're actually just punching at bags in gyms, which actually is a bit, that it's my connotation of the word boxing is always the boxing ring. But actually, it's quite interesting that this post is in a site called Women's Health. It's not just for gamers, just me, and it's a boxing recommended workout for women. The site is womenshealthmag.com, and it's in their UK section. Box VR is the name of the workout, and it totally changed her opinion of virtual fitness. And so she went in there and started boxing, and she's not going to ever look back. Um, Quite a lot of it, some interesting pictures. I guess that's what you're. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to be doing it, but there you go. Womenshealthmag.com for that one. plus a pop of adverts if you stay around too long.
Hmm.
Right, this is www.travelandleisure.com. The and there is AND, the full word, travel and leisure, all one word.com. 13 virtual train rides from around the world that you can experience right now. This is also quite nice. I guess, if somebody does a 3D film of, and you wander around and whatever, it's one thing. But when they're filming at a certain speed, racing along a railroad, that's another thing entirely. It takes you, it's faster and you can walk. But you know that feeling when you're on a long train journey or even a short one, and you get to a nice bit of countryside and you look out the window and it's going down really fast, but you sort of take it in and think, oh, it looks lovely out there, and it's gone before you know it, really. But so the idea of 360 stuff filmed from trains, it's kind of like it. Anyway, yeah, basically there's a whole load of train rides you can take, which is kind of I thought that was interesting enough to post it up there. I mean, I do post a lot of anecdotal stuff at the moment simply because I'm assuming people are looking for things to do that go beyond logging into an actual virtual world.
Hmm.
So if something like that comes along, I tweet it, don't I? So travelandleisure.com for that one. Back to VR Scouts. New tech uses shells for. Oh, this was interesting. Yeah. I actually sent this to a technology blog or magazine that the places I've send stuff. But I decided to put this in my main Twitter feed too because it's sort of pretty fascinating. Um, Apparently, they can use the shells from these creatures, crustaceans, to provide enough power to actually power VR and AR devices um, as a source of sustainable energy. Now, I'm not quite sure exactly. I'm not enough of a scientist here exactly. When you hear the term sustainable energy, what comes to mind? Wind turbines, solar panels, geothermal heating systems. As humanity continues its gradual shift away from non-renewable resources, researchers are continuing to develop new and innovative ways of generating clean, sustainable energy, etc., etc. A team from Purdue University unveiled a method of generating energy using material taken from the discarded shells of marine crustaceans. Or I don't know. I
Crustaceans.
didn't know how you, crustaceans. Okay, close enough. Anyway, I'm not going to read it all out to you or anything, but you might find it very interesting. To me, anything like this is interesting because the more power sources we can get that don't cost anything and are renewable and sustainable, the better. So who knows where something like that could go. Um, there's a song, "Money for Nothing, Energy for Free."
Huh. All right.
uh, yeah, well, one day. Right, moving on. Oh, sorry, that is, I think I said so, but it's back at VR Scout. That's VRSCOUT.com. This is from a blog, the virtual world platform called Kitely. They're based on OpenSim. That's actually where our studio today is, by the way, where we're filming from. They actually had a case study up earlier in the week, a multi-college diversity course that is being held in Kitely. It's experience intercultural education through a MOOC in a virtual world. MOOC stands for multi-user online. Ah,
Mhm.
I'm never mind. I keep thinking
It's a, it's a, that's that direction, right?
yeah, that's the way it starts. I can't remember what the OC bit is. It's certainly not a synthesizer. Sorry, Moog. Get it? Never
I think
mind,
it's
never mind.
massively open online course or something like that.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. You're absolutely right. Actually, it is. Yeah, massively open online course. That is exactly right. Um, they've got a little video here too that you can see.
How do you nurture 21st century skills? I claim you can't teach them, you have to do them. You need to experience them.
Just like we do in our program.
where we experience intercultural education through a MOOC in a virtual world. But first, let's clarify what we mean by 21st century skills so we're all on the same page. Collaboration, communication, critical thinking, creativity, and of course,
Oh,
acceptance of cultural diversity. Manal and I need to.
I think I recognised Heike's voice in
It
there at some
sounded,
point.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yeah. That YouTube site is something called Mook Talipiot. I wasn't. I've just subscribed to them, so I guess I'll find out later how much this stuff they've got there. But anyway, this is all happening and has happened in Kitely. 7 teaching colleges working together produce 3 online courses: English, Arabic, and Hebrew. And well, uh, let's see. There's a whole lot there. This is Dr. Elaine Hoter. Apparently wrote that piece, but it's on Kitely's own blog here. So it's www.kitely.com. That's KITELY.com, and not not actually dated by the look of it, but popped up this week anyway. So there you go. I think there's a link to that in Metaworld News' feed too. But if you're in doubt, just go to twitter.com/Malbones, MALBURNS, and follow the links to all this stuff. Right, Road to VR, yet again. Um, Mozilla are launching something called Hubs Cloud, which is the first step towards an open web-based metaverse. This is slightly different from Hubs itself. Well, it's not, but the idea is you better keep. I think you basically keep stuff in the cloud. Um, yeah, the web network. Yeah, I think Hub's Cloud is the idea that you might have create a hub that is like your own web space in the cloud. They're a bit there's an awful lot coming out this week here. The other thing they have, which is in that is certainly in the MetaWorld news feed. They've also updated a Unity XR WebXR exporter to run VR apps in the browser. So if you're creating for Sciencebase or anything else using Unity, there's a plugin that will export your project into Mozilla Hubs at the same time or simultaneously. So a whole load of news there. This post is actually at road2vr.com. Ben Lang writing, of course, road2vr.com, and it's a bit, well, it's got the links to Mozilla Hubs and stuff in there as well. Oof, right, Medium. Lots of links to Medium this week, and remarkably, none of them seem to require going through their paywall, which is rather good. Um, this is entitled "Technology and Power Differences in Social VR." I can't give you an exact link. I'll just say it's at Medium. It's Medium disguised. They just show Medium.com basically. Um, but if you go to twitter.com Malbones, slash Malbones, uh, you'll be able to find the links there. Small group behavior, presence correlated with co-presence, asymmetrical social VR, lots of technical, almost academic-y sounding stuff for your delectation there.
Hmm.
And oh right, we're back on that one, right? So I think we're getting near the end here. We're definitely on day 6. Boxing to get fit. Oh yeah, another one at medium. 2 more at medium. Woo! And yeah, well, how virtual reality could shape the future of the workplace. Another epical piece. A lot of posts at Medium are meant for long form reading, although they're not all that long by comparison. So again, medium.com to find that, or find it via my feed. And again, Medium, the future of immersive experiences, a Barras Innovation Fund perspective. And bit of obligatory clip art there, and I don't think there's much else illustrated here. It's just an editorial opinion piece, really, on a future of immersive experiences. And I am almost certain that is that. So I'm just going to switch over very quickly to Metaworld News. Um, yeah, scarredghost.com, SKARRED, had an in-depth article telling you how to get to work with the WebXR exporter for Unity. Basically, it talks you all the way through it and how to use it. Within reason. I think it assumes you know a bit of Unity, but that's about it. Um, this was last night, and unfortunately, that is a poster that's 100 times the size of the web page. Right, Chaos Princess had a thing called a lockdown party in Tivoli VR, which you get to at the moment still using the high fidelity viewer, attended by a lot of people. We've been talking about it all day since. Um, this is YouTube again. Isabel Cheren, who
Hey guys, Lizzie there.
is
Let
really
me
quite
defend us
funny.
again.
I
I'm
tweet all
actually
her
in
stuff
Science
from
Base
Second
today.
Life,
I've been
but
popping in on and
she's
off
taken a
for
journey
the
here
convention
to
lately.
Science Base, and
I never really had a chance when I first got the invite to go in because things were happening in my real life and yeah, another story. Anyhow, yeah. I won't.
anyway, I enjoy listening to her. So,
Hmm.
yeah, Australian type voice or something. She started going into Science Base as well as Second Life and reporting from there, and she's clearly impressed by what she saw. So that video is on the feed at Miss World News. Um, right, advance notice of the lockdown party. World Builders Meetup in Altspace VR. Okay, this was yesterday, April the 25th from 8 p.m. This is in Altspace VR. I pulled it up here because it's actually a weekly event. So although yesterday is past, the same event, the World Builders Meetup, does actually take place at 8 p.m. British time. I think, yeah, that was, yeah, it was, but each Saturday there. Um, I'm not sure whether they've got that entirely right. Um, oh yeah, no, of course our clocks have changed. Yeah, we are on British summertime. I was wondering why that didn't say something else. Okay, yeah, so weekly event there. Um, and oh, sorry, this is last week's news. It's the yo-yo.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so yeah we've all had the yo-yo there. Yeah, so let me just close those things. That's it. That's it. We're there. We made it
Oh,
somehow.
okay.
I may have lost a few things en route. Not sure. Um, yeah, just having a quick look here to see if there's anything in the old um, picture post, as we say. But doesn't look like there is. Um, yeah, I know we've gone black again. Can't do, can't navigate with for broadcast. There we are. Nah, we're back to normal.
All right.
That is normal.
That's
Wish it
the
wasn't.
normal. Okay.
that that is normal, sadly. Oh, it wants to teleport me to. Always wants to teleport me out of my own news. Right. Yeah. So, James, any thoughts on all of that? Certainly a lot of educational well, health stuff is actually probably the predominant thing at the moment, but
Yeah. Yeah.
educational and training and stuff in there too.
Yeah. And a lot of the
Uh,
things that are talking about is it good for this industry or good for that industry, and so much of that still is education and training. And
yeah.
I think as you mentioned, that's pretty well established. I also feel like I don't know. I feel a little apologetic because sometimes I'm a little too too quick to laugh at some of the things that seem funny in the news in virtual
Oh, yeah,
worlds,
well,
but they're just I could not do 1% of the things that we report on the program. It's pretty much everything is pretty amazing that people are moving forward with.
yeah. I mean, sometimes I wish I could just flip the. I mean, even if I'm only spending a minute on each of these posts, it's adding up. The
Hmm.
more that are open, I think it gives. We're giving people a flavour of just the variety of
Yeah.
stuff out there. I mean, if it gets too much, then I simply post less or edit more to the ones I'm choosing to share here. But no, I think it's as you say. I mean, it's an old story. Is this good for virtual reality? Is this good? We got to get this into virtual reality and stuff. But it is more, there's an application in virtual reality for almost everything there is in real life.
Hmm.
And when I say virtual reality, I'm talking about virtual worlds and virtual environments, not necessarily the headset world.
Hmm.
Um, and that almost has been the case. It's partly because a lot of these social worlds are actually microcosms of the real world. Obviously, they're often dominated by what you might call the pioneers. But that's only the first wave. The pioneers tend to move to the latest platform, and the second wave moves in behind them, and that's where we get things like Second Life, which proves their long-term worth as being very popular, despite the fact they're not necessarily open source. Um, so there's been people at Second Life, 15, 17 years, whatever it is now. People have been slowly but surely doing more and more in those kind of platforms, and here out on OpenSim, which is a very similar model. Um, but they don't necessarily get the sort of traction. There'll be a news item about one thing, and then it carries on merrily, and you don't really hear much more about it. Whereas now a lot of stuff is resurfacing. Reminder that they're still doing it, or were doing it first, or again, newcomers. Now is the time we ought to experience that. And this page that I've still got open, the one I kept as a default here, I think actually is one of the most exciting sort of feeling posts I've seen in
Hmm.
the whole week here. It's the idea that swapping video calls for VR will change our homes forever. Now, whether it happened that way, I don't know, but to actually for somebody to come on and just take it up like that, almost making the jump from, Skype will be to VR connections, as it were. You won't need, well, though you'll still have video, I'm sure, anyway, but they're taking the approach that those should simply exist and should connect, your room to room. It's when it's talking, it's bypassing the idea of a given platform.
Yep.
It
Yep.
mentions Zoom meetings as FaceTime as possibly a place to do it, but it doesn't mention Second Life or it doesn't mention Engage or anything like that. They're thinking conceptually rather than platform specific. So, those are the kind of articles that are actually appealing to me at the moment because, however bland they may seem, they are taking conceptual approach to VR is usable for what we do, rather than the I don't know fan approach almost, or focusing on any given platform. And I think that's what the billions of us thing is trying to do now as well is to forget about and say promoting open sim and knocking second life or whatever, go where the audience is and go where you can promote and promote the abstract idea rather than try and bypass issues concerning any given platform. So we'll
Yep.
see, we'll
Yep.
see. So are we done?
I
Have I
think I
exhausted you
think that's it. I
completely?
think we've done it.
Yeah, I'm sure you're like me. We go off air and you suddenly think, "Oh, I could have said that. Oh, that was." But yeah, I found myself talking and my mouth is just drying up more and
Oh
more.
yeah. Yeah.
I need my coffee here, which has now gone cold while I've been
Hmm.
talking.
No doubt. Right.
So much for coffee beside me. Right, okay. Well, we'll tell them. We'll tell them out there, all you folks out there. We've had it with you for now. It's
Ha.
been a long show. You've had enough. We've had enough for this week. You can go away and we'll return next week. Yeah.
All right.
Aren't we mean? Yeah, I
Yeah,
know you
yeah.
want an hour or two more. You ain't getting it because we're collapsing. Not from COVID, but from um,
From
vid.
using the brain.
Yeah, video feed.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, using our brains.
Yep.
What brain is that? I didn't know I had one of those. I'll have to explore a bit. Right. Okay. So it's goodbye from me. Oh, just a quick reminder: check up on all those links. Twitter.com/Mal Burns or Twitter.com/Metaworld News. And yeah, it's goodbye from him. This bloke
And
here.
it's goodbye from him.
So that's James Out Loud. That's the him, and me is Mal Burns. So it's goodbye from both of us, and we will return same time, probably the same place, but not necessarily,
All right.
next week. And we will see you then. Bye bye.